Assalamu alaikum. I hope all of you are doing well. In this video, I'm going to teach you about the retropharyngeal abscess. So, first of all, let us see the anatomy of the retropharyngeal abscess and its boundaries. So, here you can see that these are the vertebrae. These are the vertebrae, and this is our prevertebral layer. So, between the vertebrae and prevertebral layer, what we have? We have prevertebral space. Okay, so we have prevertebral space here. This is prevertebral space represented by the arrow. Then between the prevertebral fascia and the alar fascia, which is in pink, we have the prevertebral fascia is shown in yellow and the alar fascia is shown in pink. So between the yellow and pink prevertebral fascia and alar fascia, which is shown in pink, we have the ranger space of the neck. And between the pink one, which is the alar fascia, and between this is buccopharyngeal fascia, we have the retropharyngeal space. So these are all the spaces of the neck. Here we have prevertebral space, here we have the ranger space of the neck, and here we have retropharyngeal space. Let me show you another picture. Spaces of the neck. These are the vertebrae shown in the yellow color. These are the vertebrae. And this is prevertebral fascia shown in yellow. This is alar fascia and this is buccopharyngeal fascia. We have three fascias. Between the vertebrae and prevertebral fascia, prevertebral layer of the prevertebral fascia, we have the prevertebral space. This is the prevertebral space shown in the blue. Between the prevertebral layer of the prevertebral fascia and between the alar fascia shown in red, we have ranger space of the neck. And between the alar fascia and buccopharyngeal fascia shown in the purple, we have the retropharyngeal space. So we have three spaces. Between the vertebra and prevertebral layer, we have the prevertebral space shown in the blue. Between the prevertebral layer of the prevertebral fascia and between the alar fascia, we have ranger space of the neck. And between the alar fascia and buccopharyngeal fascia, we have retropharyngeal space there. So an infection of the retropharyngeal space is the retropharyngeal abscess. Let me explain you with another picture. See the retropharyngeal lymph nodes. So infection of the retropharyngeal lymph nodes is one of the causes of the retropharyngeal abscess, and when we see if we are suspecting that the patient is having retropharyngeal abscess, there is enlargement of the retropharyngeal lymph nodes behind the pharynx. Here you can see the retropharyngeal lymph nodes. And let me show you another picture. That this is the basically the location of the retropharyngeal space. This is the retropharyngeal space location, and this is the parapharyngeal space location. So an infection from the retropharyngeal space may extend into the parapharyngeal space. What is parapharyngeal space? I'll explain you in the next video. So here you can see the location of the retropharyngeal space. This is retropharyngeal space and this is parapharyngeal space. So an infection from the retropharyngeal space may spread into the parapharyngeal space also. These are the two spaces. Let me show you the CT scan of the acute retropharyngeal abscess. Here you can see that there is a widening of their widening behind the pharynx. Here you can see there is a widening behind the pharynx. So what is the extent of the retropharyngeal space? It extends up to the bifurcation of trachea. BOT, bifurcation of trachea. Now let us discuss about the etiology of the acute retropharyngeal abscess. It is basically usually seen in children. Why? Because its causes are due to the infection of the adenoids is the major cause, and it is commonly seen in children because adenoids are usually present in children and then in adults it regresses or they may be very small or absent. So the infection of the adenoids, what are adenoids? Adenoids are basically tonsils in the nasopharynx, and if we have infection of the adenoids, the infection may spread from the nasopharynx behind the pharynx in the retropharyngeal space. So to the pharyngeal root, they may spread into the nasopharynx and then behind the pharynx in the retropharyngeal space. And the infection of the posterior nasal sinuses or nasal cavity may also spread or extend in the retropharyngeal space. Adult causes are basically due to the injury. And in case of mastoiditis, if we have infection of the mastoid bone to the petrous bone root, the infection may spread to the retropharyngeal space behind the pharynx. So these are the causes. And what are the clinical features of the acute retropharyngeal abscess? The patient is having dysphagia. The patient is having marked difficulty in breathing and prominent symptoms of the abscess formation. And there, if we notice, there is a stridor and croupy cough of the patient. This is very prominent features. The stridor is there, the croupy cough is there, and there is a torticollis. But this torticollis, the neck becomes stiff and remain extended. And there we can see the bulge in the posterior pharyngeal wall, or the bulge in the neck, means posterior neck. So these are the diagnostic of the acute retropharyngeal abscess. And if we look at the radiograph, we see the widening of the posterior retropharyngeal space there. Let me show you again the picture of the radiograph. And we also do the contrast CT scan. The pharynx. Here you can see the widening behind the pharynx. Here you can see the widening behind the pharynx. And we do the contrast CT scan to determine the extent of the abscess. Now, what is the treatment? Treatment is simply incision and drainage of the abscess. We approach the abscess to the intraoral route, or if there is chronic retropharyngeal abscess, we approach it to the sternocleidomastoid muscles. To the intraoral route, we first approach the pharynx, and then behind the pharynx, we approach the retropharyngeal space. The patient is kept supine and with the head low, and mouth is open with a gag. I'll show you the picture, and the pus is drained. Pharyngeal space. The patient is lying supine position with the head down, and the mouth gag is placed, and we approach the retropharyngeal space behind the pharynx to the intraoral route, and we drain the abscess. Chronic retropharyngeal abscess. Chronic retropharyngeal abscess is also called prevertebral abscess, because it in initial stages it is behind the prevertebral fascia, and then its location is same as that of the acute retropharyngeal space, as that of the acute retropharyngeal abscess, which is in the retropharyngeal space. So what is etiology of the chronic retropharyngeal abscess? Is it tubercular in nature? It means there is an infection, TB infection, and involvement of the retropharyngeal lymph nodes that causes the retropharyngeal abscess. And So what are the clinical features? Dysphagia. Patient is having difficulty or discomfort in throat, but dysphagia is not marked. This is important diagnostic point of chronic retropharyngeal abscess, that there is abscess formation in the retropharyngeal space, but the patient doesn't complain of dysphagia, as in the case of the acute retropharyngeal space patient is having the complaint of dysphagia also. We approach the chronic retropharyngeal space to the sternocleidomastoid. Let me show you with the picture. That in case we have the low abscess formation, we approach it to the interior border, and in case we have the high abscess formation, we approach it to the posterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So this is how we approach the retropharyngeal space. And this is all about today's video. I hope you liked the video.